Better to have volunteers.
Classic Tomlin.
No one talks better than Mike Tomlin, right? No, I just want to listen to what he says, and I've never hit anybody in my life, but he makes me want to. I would hit somebody for that man.
Yeah, no, it feels like when you're on the inside, it feels like you're really a part of something in that organization. As someone who played for the Ravens, you see them as similar. It's the same type of organizational stability that you want to be a part of. However, Harbaugh, I mean, he don't got the sayings like Mike. Mike's got some good one-liners.
I'm with that. Robert Griffin III, do you agree with Tim made the assessment a moment ago? This is a Steeler team that we need to watch out for. A lot of people have been burying them, and that was premature, and that this is a legit contender.
I wouldn't bury them, and I would say that the Steelers are a playoff team. I just don't feel like anyone is afraid to play them. Now, defensively, they're still physical. They still have one of the best pass rushers in the game. But offensively, they're struggling a little bit, and they don't scare you, right? Big Ben is not the same quarterback. He's still effective, but just not the same. Maybe Diet Big Ben just isn't the same as original Big Ben. And you talk about the Steelers and the fact of what they've been going through, right? They just shipped off a hostage to the Kansas City Chiefs. They barely beat the Seahawks with Geno Smith at quarterback. And then they beat a one-armed Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns. So for them, yeah, they're on a winning streak. They've kind of come back and rewrote that narrative. But I just don't look at them as the same scary playoff team that they've been in the past.
No, of course not. But and I mean, I agree with that. But I think, Tim, the one thing that was their biggest weakness seems to be turning a little bit, which is they couldn't run the ball at all, and that's because their offensive line couldn't get anything done. And we had a nice, Dan Orlovsky did a really nice video breakdown of how, in particular, the interior of their offensive line is really starting to dominate now, and Najee Harris is emerging, and they are becoming more balanced on offense, which feels to me like the most important piece of all of this, Tim.
They outrushed the Cleveland Browns last week. Like, they ran the football better than Cleveland did in that matchup. So, look, I mean, they're getting better and I think that with a rookie runner in a rebuilt offensive line, like the idea that it was going to be perfect week one was probably, not a realistic expectation. So if they can get a little more balance, be more efficient running the football. Look, John Elway and Peyton Manning won Super Bowls when their physical skills had diminished, but they still were effective. There were other elements of their football team that were really good. And by the way, we just played that soundbite of Mike Tomlin for a reason. He is a good coach. He gets guys to buy in and follow. And if you're not going to be part of it, then you're gone. Sign me up for the guy that's going to do that and lead a football team that way. That is a winning formula, and he's proved it throughout his career.
So we got the Steelers, and we got the Browns, and we got the former Raven, and of course the Bengals were having the great year, and they ran into the buzzsaw that is Mike White this past weekend. So that brings the question, which team is going to win the AFC North? RG3, I'll start with you.
Oh, I think it's the Ravens. The Ravens still win it. And the thing that's funny to me talking about the Steelers, did any of us ever think that the Steelers would be third in the AFC North at this point in the season? Never say never, but never. Right? Mike Tomlin and these guys, you just didn't expect them to be that far behind. But the Ravens have the best quarterback in the division, Lamar Jackson. As long as they have him, he's the guy. And when you look at the Bengals, right, they had the big win against the Ravens 2 weeks ago. But then they laid an egg against the Jets, and they made Mike White go out there and look like Joe Namath. I mean, Mike White didn't even know what he was doing out there. He was surprised, and so was Joe Flacco. Elite Joe Flacco, of course.
Mike White actually was just named the AFC Player of the Week. Domonique, who's going to win that division?
Yeah, RG3 is a former Raven also, so I'm going to stick with the family and say that the Ravens are going to win it. They're leading the division right now, and I think that they have the best quarterback, as he mentioned. But the interesting thing to me about this division is when you look around the AFC, there's a chance that all four of these teams are in position to make the playoffs, which is unlikely to happen, but it's something that could happen. But if you're going to go with a team that's reliable and has a guy that you can really count on to take over games, I think it's the Ravens, and they're in the lead right now.
Well, as of the very recent new playoff formula, you can get it. We are now with the 7 teams. You can't have all 4 teams make it. Tim, who's going to win that division?
I'm going to do my best, Domonique Foxworth, and change my mind. Although I'm not doing it in 30 seconds. I'm doing it my preseason pick to win the division was the Cleveland Browns. I'm actually going with the Cincinnati Bengals here. I just think it's a really good team, top to bottom, both sides of the ball. And I think that their quarterback, a lot of the things that Domonique actually just said about Lamar, I feel a similar way about Joe Burrow. I think that the way that he has played has been outstanding, and I think there's room for improvement. So when I look at them, I just see a team that's a well-rounded team that's got a lot of buy-in, and they've positioned themselves, even with that bad Jets loss, to still be in the hunt, and I like that about them.
Yeah, I'm actually going with Cincinnati as well, and I'll just make the point. There's going to come a time when there'll be no shame in having gotten beat by Mike White. I mean, let's just be very clear.
Okay.
That time is rapidly coming, I agree. The Bengals might have been a little bit of a letdown. Mike White taught them a lesson. I think they will learn from it, and they will win that division. All right, coming up. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.